This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
All right, welcome. Ray DeLessio flying solo this week as we kick off 2023 with a brand new show. Last week we brought you the best of YouTube 2022. Well, that was the past. This is the here and now. So here's what's coming up on this show. Remember that Arctic blast over Christmas? Yeah, we all do. Well, it didn't just damage a few pipes. It also wreaked havoc on Georgia's citrus industry. Thanksgiving and Christmas now behind us, but for this Georgia agribusiness, the holidays are far from over. Whether it's locally grown foods or products that make you smell good, they have gifts for just about everyone. And then later, most 7-year-olds won't even eat vegetables, let alone teach people about the benefits of them. Well, this young lady does both. The special title she holds and why she has become a national sensation. These stories and so much more right now on the Farm Monitor. Well, as most were making their final preparations for Santa, producers here in Georgia were dealing with Mother Nature's Arctic blast, a once-in-a-generation winter storm that brought frigid temperatures, resulting in growers working around the clock to protect their crops. Our John Holcomb spoke to a citrus producer in Thomas County and explains the impact the storm had on their grove.
Here in this citrus grove in southwest Georgia, a battle took place. A battle for survival as the Christmas week Arctic blast brought frigid wind and temperatures to the area colder than any they've seen in years, which meant growers like Lindy Savelle, who owns and operates Georgia-grown citrus, had to spring into action, working day in and day out to freeze protect their trees if she wanted them to survive.
We freeze protect our trees using a microjet that puts out 14 gallons per hour per tree. And it's the making of ice that creates biothermal units that keeps the temperature of the bud union of the tree from freezing. It's so counterintuitive, but it works. And so it was quite incredible. We ran the system day after day without turning it off. But here on our farm, we turn it on at 36, and we don't turn it off till it gets up to 36, sometimes 38, depending on the chill factor. But it is huge to freeze protect these trees. I don't know how you would really survive without doing something to protect them.
For the most part, Savelle believes they fared pretty well, as they only lost a little bit of fruit on the trees left from harvest and had a few broken limbs. But as you can see, much of the foliage looks as though it's been burned, which Savelle says will have to be cut back and will most likely affect next year's production.
When it's frozen and it starts to thaw out, things start to happen. So it takes time to reveal that. But say we had to cut back all of the foliage that's on this tree, or cut back the limbs because of burn back. That will affect production next year because you're cutting off the production part of the tree. So it could affect us that way. I don't think for our satsumas we're going to see a lot of production drop, but some of these other varieties like the grapefruit, the tangos, those sorts of things, and certainly any tree that was still putting on new growth, all of that would be burned and have to be cut off. So, and that's where you lose your production, is anytime you have to cut limbs off, you're going to lose volume.
For now, though, Savelle says that it's just a waiting game, as they won't know the full impact for a few weeks and still have 2 whole months of winter weather ahead of them.
Recovery is just going to be looking and watching for the next few weeks. We won't start cutting on these trees or trimming back anything. There's really not much we can do until the spring, because who knows what January and February will hold for us. Because anytime you do anything to the tree, it's waking it up. It's not allowing it to stay dormant. And that's what you want. You want it to stay dormant. And it's likely that we'll have another event. Hopefully not this brutal. But it's always a possibility in Georgia. You know, we're going to have a freeze event. So you're in the watch mode for the next two months, really, just to see what kind of damage you might have had, and just kind of the wait and see.
Reporting in Otlockney for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Meantime, while Christmas might be in the books, Valentine's Day and Easter are just around the corner. And if you're looking for that perfect gift with a little touch of Georgia flavor, one local startup company is sure to have what you're looking for. Damon Jones has the story.
After starting out with a small 30-box order nearly a decade ago, Georgia Crafted has now become the largest curator of locally produced products in the state, shipping out tens of thousands of gift boxes each and every year, all in an effort to expand the client base past just local farmers markets.
Their consumer is just that person on the other side of the table buying their product. And our idea was, well, wait a minute, if we could partner with people all over the country, maybe we could partner with companies who are looking for client gifts or employee gifts. You know, we can take one product and get it into the hands of so many more people at one time. And then we're helping, you know, not only promote that small local maker, but we're helping promote the concept of shopping local.
That type of exposure can be difficult for local business owners, as many don't have the time or know-how for self-promotion.
They're family-run businesses. You know, they're trying to get their kids to their ball games and do dance classes and, you know, do all the things. I think just being able to support those small local companies, makers versus large corporations, it just goes such a long way. The impact that it can have, to me, is just phenomenal.
While these products are created in a relatively small area, that doesn't mean there isn't plenty to choose from when picking out the perfect gift.
At this point, we carry over 200 different products made by local makers. So that's going to be different snack products. It's going to be different bath and body products or home goods. And so it's fantastic because people can come onto GeorgiaCrafted.com. They can pick and choose the style products they want and know right then and there that they're helping to support only local Georgia makers.
That kind of variety also spotlights just how diversified agriculture is within the state.
I mean, you think that we carry so many Georgia-grown products. You know, we've got pecans, we've got peanuts, we've got, you know, beef jerky and honey. I mean, these are all, a lot of these people, they're farmers. You know, they're out there growing their product. So again, the impact that it can have on these products is just amazing.
And it's not just the business owners that see the benefits, but also the customers, as they are able to buy gifts that is sure to suit every different taste.
You know, the impact that I feel that Georgia Crafted can have goes such a long way. Again, not just on that local maker, but it's even on our end consumer. You know, it's hard to buy a gift. It's not easy. Everybody at this point pretty much has what they need. So I always say, you buy one Georgia Crafted box that has 4 or 5 products, and you've just helped support 4 or 5, technically 6, small local businesses.
Even though Georgia Crafted has a warehouse full of local products, they are always looking for more, which is why they encourage every Georgia maker to reach out.
All they have to do is go to GeorgiaCrafted.com. If it's an artisan or a maker looking to submit their product, there's actually a submission application that they can fill out. But honestly, my phone number's on the website, my email's on the website. Call me, text me, email me. I'm always here.
Reporting from Gwinnett County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Damon, thanks so much. After the break, it's off to Fulton County for a special look at Georgia's youngest certified farmer, Kendall Ray Johnson. This young lady's so unique, and the passion she has for growing food is off the charts. Her story when the Farm Monitor continues.
Congratulations to Samuel Agri, the 2022 D.W. Brooks Faculty Award winner for excellence in international agricultural and environmental sciences. Samuel Agri is a Richard B. Russell Chair and Professor in the Department of Poultry Science at the University of Georgia College of Agricultural and Environmental Sciences. Agri earned his doctoral degree in Population and Quantitative Genetics at the University of British Columbia, Canada. He was a Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada postdoctoral fellow in molecular genetics at McGill University in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. He joined the UGA faculty in 1999 and has been a faculty member in the UGA Institute of Bioinformatics since 2006. Agri is an affiliate scientist at the Biosciences Eastern and Central Africa International Livestock Research Institute and pillar leader for capacity building with the African Animal Breeding Network. Agri's research includes developing models for genomic selection, nutrigenomics, molecular and cellular basis of stressors, and poultry breeding. AGRI is a co-editor of the book Poultry Genetics, Breeding and Biotechnology, and the lead editor for the book Advances in Poultry Genetics and Genomics. He teaches poultry breeding at the undergraduate level and postgraduate courses in population and quantitative genetics and breeding strategies. He also co-teaches an international course on quantitative genetics and genomics. He has authored or co-authored 9 book chapters and more than 140 peer-reviewed research publications. AGRI has consulted for the poultry breeding industry, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Kuwait National Research Institute, among others, on animal improvement-related projects.
At 7 years old, Fulton County's Kendall Rae Johnson has done more than most individuals 6 times her age. As the youngest USDA-registered certified farmer in the state of Georgia, she has appeared on major networks as well as countless media outlets throughout Georgia. Yet, despite the attention, Kendall Rae has remained true to her mission of sharing a deep passion for agriculture with anyone who will listen. The song you hear, the track title, is called Garden View. Fitting because when you first observe Kendall Rae Johnson in her garden, she appears to be your typical 7-year-old child. Just a little girl, playing, laughing with her friends, and truth be told, she really is just a kid at heart. But ask Kendall Rae for a tour of the garden, and that same little girl grows up before your very eyes.
These are the picklers. The picklers are a cucumber that we use for pickles. These are super sweet 100s. Got blue spice basil. We got striped tomatoes, but it's close to the candy cane pepper.
Yes, Kendall Rae certainly knows her way around the garden, doesn't she? Exactly how and when she developed that knowledge and love for gardening, her parents tell me they first noticed it when she was just 3 years old.
When her grandmother would tell us to bring her collard greens out and just put them back in the ground or put them in a pot or something so we can have collard greens again in a couple months off of the same stalk. And she was interested on how she would go out and look at how they would produce new little stalks and stuff like that. And she'd be excited about it, like ecstatic.
You know, she'll see a yellow leaf. She's gonna question about why is it yellow? Well, what type of bug is eating it? Can we find? She calls it the culprit. You know, where is the culprit? She's like,
7 years old, she knows the word culprit.
Yeah, she's like, where's the culprit? You know, and she'll get back here and she'll study.
Most kids your age, they're doing other stuff. They don't want anything to do with vegetables, but yet you're out here every day. Why do you enjoy it so much?
I enjoy it so much because it means sharing food with the whole community.
Sharing and community. Two of the major emphasis and foundation for which agriculture, Kendall Rae's business entity, was built upon. As mentioned, she's a certified farmer and a member of various farm organizations, including Georgia Farm Bureau. Her story capturing the hearts and attention of many, some of which felt the need to step up and lend a hand. Last December, Kendall Rae, Mom Ursula, and Dad Quentin were invited to the Big Apple for an appearance on Good Morning America. Once there, Kendall Rae was presented with an early Christmas gift, a check for $10,000 to help with future farming endeavors.
You've become, a national celebrity. You're the youngest farmer in Georgia. You're traveling all over the country talking to people. What do you think of all that?
Well, I think it's pretty good that I talk to people, and I pretty love it because I get to meet new friends every day.
It definitely almost breaks me into tears almost every time I think about it, because I would never, me myself as a kid, I'd never had that much confidence. She's so young with a lot of confidence, and just the Like you said, she just walk up to you and give you a hug. She's not really afraid of anybody.
She did a interview with, I think it's Boyd Elementary School. And from kindergarten through 5th grade, she was entertaining to everybody. She was entertaining to everybody. The 5th graders wanted to ask her a question. She used a 5th grade word. She said microbes, which they know it as microorganisms, but she did the short version of it, and then the teacher had to step in and say, she's talking about microorganisms, people. But she's using the word microbes. She's using the terminology compost, you know, soil. And I mean, she can use everything. She knows the plant cycle. So she's allowing those who are younger than her, those who are right at her age, her peer, you know, and beyond, to kind of connect with her in a way that is just brilliant.
But Kendall Ray's enthusiasm for farming not only contagious to her peers and children alike, but also to adults, especially her dad.
This is the longest I've ever stuck to anything, and it's just because she gave me a passion for it, because I mean, I love it too now, you know, because, you know, learning the different things about growing and stuff like that is fascinating. So it's been keeping my attention for some years now.
The farming, the gardening, what life lessons is she learning by having a garden like this?
Ooh, life lessons: being patient. Some things grow and some things don't, you know? Yeah, critical thinking, how to solve a problem. There's so many that she's learning just by being in nature. The seasons, you know, what grows well in the summer may not grow well in the winter. How, you know, it's deep. You know, we're learning life lessons being in our own garden, and just to watch her go through it and learn her own lessons are teaching us as well.
Wise beyond her years, isn't she? And Kendall Ray's involvement in agriculture has only just begun. As you can see here, she's already authored a book, and her mom tells me there are some other big things coming down the pipe in 2023. Cannot wait for that. Well, stick around. When we come back, some positive news regarding the dairy industry and how the pandemic may have played a role in consumers rediscovering the benefits of milk.
Globally, wheat contributes roughly 18% of the total dietary calories, and barley is the 4th most important cereal in the world. Both commodities are used in making bread, soups, pasta, even tea. Wheat and barley are threatened by disease, weather extremes, and climate change. Farmers rely on plant breeders to develop improved varieties that tackle the growing challenges of today and tomorrow. ARS plant breeders recently released new wheat and barley varieties that produce higher yields and nutritional values, greater resistance to disease, and increased resilience to weather extremes. In Pullman, Washington, research geneticist Kimberly Garland Campbell released Castella, a club wheat that's a specialty class of soft white wheat grown commercially in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. With improved grain yields, greater resistance to disease, and higher quality, Castella is a jack of all trades in the world of wheat. Most importantly, it has better resistance to pre-harvest sprouting or early germination, a condition that reduces the quality of the grain and results in a loss for farmers. In Aberdeen, Idaho, research geneticist Gong-Shi Hu released 2 new types of food barley called Cardia and Upspring. Cardia is a hulled spring barley, meaning the seed is covered. Along with a higher yield than other common varieties, this new breed is 2% higher in beta-glucan fiber and has already become quite popular with growers. Upspring is a winter barley that's hulless, or naked as it's called in the industry. It has the distinction of being the first two-road winter-type barley available. Along with higher yields, it has a longer growing season, giving growers options for planting and harvesting times, as well as better use of available water resources. Both barley varieties were bred to improve yield amounts and increase beta-glucan fiber nutrition for people who may struggle with cholesterol, high blood pressure, obesity, and other diseases. All three new varieties will help growers prepare for future markets and climate conditions. Who knows what will grow from here?
Well, finally this week, following a 50-year growth trend, U.S. consumers continue to crave delicious dairy products like milk, cheese, yogurt, and butter. In this report from Holstein Association USA, Miles Ramsey tells us what this strong demand means for dairy farmers across the country.
$12.4 pounds. That's how much U.S. dairy consumption per person increased in 2021. Data from the USDA Economic Research Service reports the new record of 667 pounds of dairy consumed per capita in the United States. That kind of increase has a direct bottom-line impact, and it excites industry leaders, like Jeff Lyon of Farm First Dairy Cooperative.
That was outstanding news, and I think the dairy farmers should take a look at that because they're the ones that have put the dollars in. And I think it shows that the work that the various promotion groups are doing is making tremendous strides, and people do love dairy. They want dairy as part of their diet. That's obvious that you can see that.
The upward trend actually began in 1975 when USDA started tracking dairy consumption. But a result from the COVID pandemic had an unexpected benefit for dairy producers and partially fueled last year's dairy surge. Families stayed home and in many cases adopted a more wholesome diet, one that includes more dairy products.
A bunch of people found out that they really do like dairy because we saw that great resurgence, and they found out, hey, we like this. Tasting milk is good. We've had a lot because we're eating at home, and the cheese, everything that you're consuming has been good.
Since the nation's dairy herds are more efficient than ever, producing more milk from fewer animals, it's increasingly important to have steady markets for milk and dairy products.
If we didn't see that increase in either the domestic consumption or increases in our exports, where would that milk go? And what would our dairy industry look like? It'd be contracted severely. So that's all good news.
The good news doesn't stop there. U.S. dairy exports are rising quickly during a time when other world markets, such as Europe, Australia, and New Zealand, are no longer moving the needle.
There is a real opportunity, I think, for us to even expand on the percentage of milk equivalent that gets exported. It was reported 1 out of every 6 tankers of milk is basically exported. And I recall, I think it wasn't too long ago that number was 1 out of 7.
There's no question more and more people are realizing the benefits of dairy. And worldwide, milk is doing a lot of bodies a lot of good. For Holstein Association USA, I'm Miles Ramsey.
Miles, thanks so much, and thank you, Holstein Association USA. My time is up, but before we send you on your way, a friendly reminder that for all the latest ag news regarding food, recipes, and what's happening on Georgia farms, be sure you check out all of our social media platforms, including farm-monitor.com. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Stay safe. Have a great week.